So, hello everybody. I went to Kundalini Yoga this morning, and I was driving home and thinking about all the stuff that's swirling around us right now, and my guides, whatever, suddenly said to me, basically, you just need to get on and kind of do a live stream. I used to do a lot of live streams on Facebook. I'm so busy now, I don't always get time to. I do them just for patrons sometimes, more than publicly. So if you're not a Patreon or patron already, you can become a patron for $1 a month, or $5 a month, or 25 or 50, whichever energy suits you. But this one I decided was public, or I was told should be public, because the energies are crazy. I'm getting a lot of emails. I'm getting a lot of kind of messages and things from various friends, connections, former clients. There's a lot of people losing their shit, basically. Now, I won't give a name, but like for one of them, there's one of them, a friend of mine, his wife is basically in the mental hospital now. She's having a complete psychotic break. And she's not in just for a day or two. She's kind of in intensive treatment, because she just basically lost her mind. And another friend, this person's little sister got arrested and sent back to prison. The same person's sister-in-law found a lump in her breast, and this same person's mom is making marriage plans with a guy she just met. Oh, and this person's son also had another mental episode, and went back in hospital. Now, I don't say this to scare you. I say this to say that things are kind of insane. Okay. Oh, Sherry left. I don't know. She didn't. Anyway, never mind. It's being recorded, so it's going to go out on YouTube and everywhere. And I doubt you know me. I'm a positive kind of astrologer, and I like to lift people up. And I'm feeling very good myself, but I want to save me repeating myself, I kind of want to write. I want to read some of the stuff that I wrote to this friend who's having the major problems. He himself is also feeling quite depressed. So some of the things I wrote, well, I'm going to say, we have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, conjunct the Sun today. I wrote in the article, Mercury will also conjunct Vesta in Pisces and station direct conjunct Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, in the spot where the last new moon was. And we also have Black Moon Lilith currently conjunct Neptune and conjunct Lilith, sorry. Black Moon Lilith conjunct Vesta, that should have said, and going to go retrograde over Neptune. Most of the Pisces energy, apart from Neptune, is between 20 and 24 degrees, and squaring Jupiter. And Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. So even though Jupiter's in the sign, the other sign he rules, Sagittarius, really that's a lot of Pisces type energy. All right. We also, and I will talk about all of this, we also have Pluto in Capricorn and the South Node in Capricorn, now only 2 degrees apart, and they will meet exactly on April the 4th at 23 degrees. And you heard me talk about 23 degrees, and I wrote an article about 23 degrees and the number 23. So I'm not going to go into that. But I do want to say that all this Pisces energy can be really depressive, very victim-y, it's also kind of the energy of mental institutions and people basically losing their shit because they can't think straight, can't see straight. It's also kind of very psychic sponge like. So, there's all this energy where, the crazy is happening in the world as well. And because it's very like a psychic sponge, we can feel that it's overwhelming at times, a lot of this Pisces energy. Very, very overwhelming. There can be a lot of escapism, a lot of, I'm kind of escaping, I'll admit, to Kundalini yoga right now. Although I think I'm going to keep it up because it's doing my body good as well as my soul. But, there's a lot of less healthy forms of escapism, of course, and there's a tendency towards that. Or people feeling like they're losing their minds, of course. So, I just thought I wanted to get on a call and just talk about it a little bit and talk about the energies and talk about maybe some tactics and the ways to deal with it. And I am going to talk about some of the other energies. Now, I'll talk kind of in the major kind of ways coming up. And some of this I've written about and some of it I will expand on. But, this year is really, really intense and overwhelming. The goddess is rising. I always try and put the positive on it. I always try and suggest things to do. But it really has the potential to be like this amazing spiritual transformation or a bit apocalyptic. And as always, we have kind of the free will around that, around how we respond to it. Our lives do not have to be apocalyptic, and we do not have to sit and soak up what's happening in the rest of the world. And also we can protect ourselves a little, even if it's happening very close to home, as it is for that friend where everything kind of is kind of going crazy around him, if you like. Okay. So Pluto and the nodes are going to meet. I talked about that. So we've got the chart there, April the 4th. We've also got this cardinal grand cross, which will be at 23 degrees when Pallas is at 23 degrees. You see it's still in action at 23 degrees when Pallas moves retrograde, because Eris is always at 23, but then Pluto joins in this cardinal grand cross. Then Saturn is very close to. So cardinal grand cross is an initiating change, and it's all about, and in Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, this is all about identity. This is Aries, the I am, and this is Cancer. This is who am I deep inside, or who is my family. In Libra, this is who am I in relationship, and also that's in relationship to our disowned self, the bits of ourself we don't like. So, this is like I am very straightforward, but then there's parts of ourselves we kind of don't like to look at, and Libra comes up with that. So it's both other people, other things, money, all that kind of stuff. And then Capricorn as well is kind of who are we in public, our public reputation, our out in the world, out in work. It's also our kind of collective identity as regards institutions, government, and stuff like that. So you can see this is a huge transformation. And then, not only that, around this time, I could go back and forth days to get the exact, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to make you dizzy. But we have Jupiter over here around the 23 mark. Already mentioned Pallas Athena. what's not showing on here because it's not in this software. I could get my other software, but I'm not going to for the sake of time. We have the dwarf planet Haumea. Is around 26 degrees of Libra, and asteroid Lilith, the solid version of Lilith, is at 19. Black Moon Lilith, which is not a solid version, but is another. There's 3 types of Liliths. I'm not going to go into all that, but they keep showing up around the 23-degree mark as well. We've got Eris, as I said, she's the one solidly staying there. She's kind of the pivot towards all this. But then we've got Hygeia, another asteroid. If you look at her, she's kind of the medical symbol, the symbol of the American Medical Association, because she's related to the medical profession and healing and like cleansing, health kind of energy. Astrea at some point is back here too. I don't really work with her. Sedna is at 26 degrees as well. And Sedna, you know, she's this Inuit goddess who had a very tragic story, but she's to do with the oceans and you know, the health of the oceans, if you like, as well. Haumea was to do with rebirth, by the way. Juno, she's around the 23-degree mark as well. And I'm realizing I'm see-through because I have green on, but try and stand in front of my chair. She's known as the soulmate asteroid, but she is more to do with the as well to do with the rights of the oppressed and you know, the underprivileged. Okay. And then, of course, the North Node. And then I want to look at patterns. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about, you know, how we can deal with this. All right. Because it's very big, very overwhelming. I got overwhelmed in tears coming home from Kundalini Yoga, because I just, you know, I read the email from my friend who's got all that stuff going on. And then I thought about my friend whose wife is in an institution at the minute, getting help for her mental breakdown, and then I thought of all the people I'm seeing, friends on Facebook who are losing a lot of people or animals as well. My mother-in-law just lost a dog, and you know, it just seems a lot at the moment, and I just felt like people are in so much pain right now. And I hope you're not one of them. You know, some of us are lucky to be kind of in that kind of float space in observation mode, but the people who are suffering need us to stay in our center and to really kind of protect that space, because they need that space of steadiness when the world seems to be falling apart around them. Okay, if you're one of those that is falling apart, I hope this will help too. I hope, you know, giving some ideas to how to deal with all this will help. I hope. Okay, so looking at the patterns, I've talked about the Grand Cross, but I also want to look at this other pattern here. We have a kite. Okay, so you see we've got this air grand trine with Juno and Lilith and Pallas Athena, and that kite will come and go a bit. And Eris is kind of the bow, okay, the outlet for all this. And Eris is kind of the anchor in this grand cross, grand square shape as well. So there's a big lot of energy pointing at Eris, and that is saying, I would get to know Eris. In fact, maybe we'll do a little meditation. I'm not going to do a drum journey, but maybe we'll do a short minute or two meditation after I've pulled some cards. She's one energy I would really kind of get in touch with. I would really, if you meditate, I would meditate on Eris. I'd maybe do some journaling to Eris. You know, she's known as the goddess of discord, and she's known as a chaotic kind of energy. But most astrological kind of astrological research about her, and the astrological um, what people are noticing about Eris as she aspects and causes change, because she is a transformational energy, because she's way out there, long-term transformation, is that she's actually quite benevolent energy. In the myths, she was portrayed as really kind of this nasty, discordant figure who caused the Trojan War, but really, she threw the apple in, saying who's the fairest, and only because she wasn't invited to the party, and things were not fair and even. And immediately what pops to kind of mind is all these people being arrested for kind of cheating their kids' way into college, and thereby depriving other people of places in college, who did not have $500,000 to bribe their way into it. You know, it's kind of this, it's showing up where, you know, there's corruption, artifice, unfairness, basically. And this is happening all around us. So, you know, where can you kind of shake the table a little bit for the sake of fairness for you and your loved ones? Where can you show up and kind of just rattle cages a little bit so that things are done differently, so that everybody gets what they need? You know, I know we only do our own little bits. You know, we can't take on the whole world, all of us, and change everything, but we can each do a little bit in our own world. So in whatever way, you know, seems to you, where there's unfairness and things need to be kind of just shaken and rattled a little bit. So the other point that doesn't really show on here, but is this aspect to the North Node. We've got Jupiter here, 24 degrees. Lilith is at 23 degrees on March the 29th. So she's, so I'm going to go back a couple of days actually. So we've got 23, because I want to show you the lines. We have a finger of fate, a finger of God. Okay, that is happening while all this other stuff meets at the end of this month and beginning of next month. And you know, finger of fate, or yod, which means that we have a sextile. So these two are 60 degrees apart. Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius, Jupiter in Sagittarius, both quite wild, visionary energies in those signs, both connected with future vision. This very much connected with natural law, justice as well, because Jupiter is kind of the law, but more the kind of natural law than man-made kind of law. And then Lilith over here kind of wilding it up a little bit in Aquarius, saying, let's think things differently. Again, let's shake the table. And they're pointing at the North Node in Cancer. That's asking us to remember that we're all one big family, okay? And that we're all in it together, and that we have to care and nurture for everybody, and all that kind of energy. Because the North Node is the highest energy of a sign, okay? But not only that, so we've got these two green lines pointing right at the North Node, which makes it a yod. But we've also got this, the releasing end on the South Node, saying we have to change the rules we live by. We have to let go of these set ideas, set rules, things like that. And again, I'm not talking about natural laws, you know, I'm not talking about the thou shalt not kill kind of law, you know. But even then, oh no, I'm not going to go there, but I'll let you make up your own mind about that. So this is huge. And it's going to keep, I keep talking about the 23, it's going to keep triggering, you know, we go, it's kind of all separates, all goes apart, but then Pallas Athena goes forward again, and we have another excuse me, we have another grand cross, but not, and it's a bit wider to the nodes, but it kind of keeps separating, reforming, separating, reforming. And then we have a lot of stuff going. Oh, don't worry, don't get dizzy. I will point at it. All pointing towards what all the astrologers are talking about when we have all of this stuff in Capricorn, where we have Jupiter, Mercury, South Node, Sun, Ceres, Saturn, Pluto. You know, you go around these days, we get Pallas Athena will be joining in. I will show you as soon as she's in, I will point. But then Mercury leaves. So, you know, some of the faster moving energies leave and point. But by January 2020, it's all joining, all in the Capricorn and all opposing this North Node in Cancer. So it's a major, major, major year. The last time, to come back to now, the last time the South Node and Pluto met together was in Cancer, and that was in 2010. They would have met together at this end of the chart 18 years ago, so 2001. But, you know, it's everything else in the chart's different. So there will be some echoes, there will be some kind of fulfillment. Look back to November 2010. Really, for me, not much happened. But look back for 2001 and see what shifts and changes were happening for you in your life back then as well. But really, this is a big cultural, generational thing, because even when the nodes and Pluto were meeting last time, you know, we didn't have all this other stuff going on. This is, I heard another astrologer, Maurice Fernandez, I think, said, you know, there will be before January 2020 and after January 2020. I think it will be before 2019 and after January 2020. This whole period is a time major change. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards, and then I think we're just going to do, you know, just a quick tune-in bit meditation. Okay. I'll need my book because one of these cards I've never pulled before. Okay, so this is kind of a where are we coming from, where are we now, where are we going? So that's the basics of it. Funnily enough, I got this card yesterday too, for those of you that watched the thing. So, let me stop sharing so it's bigger. Disappointment. Mars in Scorpio. It's the 5 of Cups. And I am going to look up the book reading because, you know, I showed you all this stuff at 22 to 23 degrees. If I tell you that my sun is at 21 degrees of Sagittarius with Jupiter conjunct, and it's in the 12th house, which is a natural house of Pisces, you can maybe see that I'm kind of in float world too. So I kind of have to pick anchors. But this is about emotional disappointment. I think there is a lot of emotional disappointment around at the moment. And it's disappointment that makes us feel fragile, vulnerable, all very watery words. There can be depression with this, like the murky seas behind. You see the murky seas in the card at the back. We're feeling a bit skewed, like the star, a bit uprooted like the lily pads. But yet, I love these cards because they always have a positive message to look at. If we can choose to look at things differently, my favorite quote, looking at, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, that's it. Okay, disappointment can be a transformative agent. The roots of the lily pad make the shape of a butterfly. So you can probably see that now, if you couldn't before, okay, which is a universal symbol for transformation. The astrological aspect of this card is Mars in Scorpio, which is, and the Mars is associated with energy, vitality, and assertion. So like Mars, this is disappointment that is deep and vital. This is disappointment that goes to a very deep level, like Scorpio. This is not superficial disappointment. It's probably in some area of life we are feeling major disappointment, but we're being asked to release it with all this Pisces letting go, surrender kind of energy, so that our empty cups, the cups here, can be ready for refilling. Okay, so the next card, these are not the most fluffy cards, I have to say. So we have the Eight of Swords, which is Jupiter in Gemini. And Gemini, funnily enough, is the opposite sign of Sagittarius, where Jupiter is now. So Jupiter here is the opposite point of where it is now, okay? And this is interference. So this is about doubting, not trusting, the over-analytical mind. We're probably trying to make too much sense of things right now when they don't make sense, okay? Basically, it's the mind that is considering either two options, two issues, two situations, or two people, and going back and forth on which would be the better option or choice. But this card is a reminder that when you're in states of doubt or confusion or interference, that it is a time to wait and not a time to act. Pisces can be a very still, peaceful place. If you can get in this center, in this stillness, and really step into that and just sit and be and wait. That doesn't mean don't go to your job. It doesn't mean don't have conscious, try and, be aware when driving. But it does mean overall to kind of sit in it. Then where we're going, I think this is when Mercury turns direct, which is the 26th, I think. Or is it the 28th? It's the 28th. Okay. Yeah, it's the 28th. I thought for a minute I was wrong. I told my yoga lot this morning that it was the 28th, and I had self-doubt. There's that interference card. Anyway, it is the 28th. The mastery of creative and intuitive thinking. This is what we've got coming. This is the Prince of Swords, is that aspect of the mind which has newly mastered creative, intuitive thinking. He represents the inspired mind that does not want to be limited, restricted, or restrained in any way. The desire for non-limitation during the creative, intuitive process is symbolized by the prince who, with his two swords, is determined to cut through any thoughts, attitudes, or beliefs that might rein the movement, which is the chariot, an expression of the creative, intuitive thinking. So this is kind of where we're going. We're kind of in this, we're dealing with a lot of loss of faith, a lot of needing to escape. It is overwhelming. I would strongly suggest having a practice every day. Kundalini is doing it for me, as is shamanic journey work. Salt baths, get out in nature, not when you have 10 inches of snow in a day like we had yesterday. That was insane. Colorado had it worse, but it was nuts. But if you can get out in nature, really sit back against a tree, get bare feet on grass. I know I talk about this a lot, but right now it's really kind of crucial to have it as a practice, not just something you do as an extra. This is, you're needed, basically. Anybody that's watching this is probably, seeing what they can do. You are needed to kind of hold that space and not to lose your shit, basically, if that makes sense. So, for those of you that are on and those of you that are listening to the recording, if you just want to sit down and just close your eyes just for a minute, I'm just going to just do a little tune in. I'm not going to do a long meditation, but just close your eyes, feel your feet rooted onto the ground. I want you to let your breath out with a soft ah. Let all the breath out. And after you do it, just let the breath stay out until it comes in naturally. Not a deep breath. We're going to let the breath out with an ah. We're going to do that 3 times. Can you feel your body lets the breath back in on its own? Your body is not going to let you not breathe. This is a great breath to practice on your own when you want to calm your system. It calms your system in a way that taking deep breaths doesn't. Just letting it out. Hold the breath out till your body naturally invites the breath back in. And now I just want you to visualize. I just want you to visualize that card, that last card, this creative, energetic expression that we're moving towards. See it in the future, though. See it on the hill. See that you're looking at it and you know that's what's coming. But for the right now, you have to be where you are. Look around. Where are you? For me, I'm surrounded by water. There's so much water energy. I'm kind of floating. But I see what's coming. Pisces is also kind of the birth canal. Okay. It's the amniotic fluid, the time before birth, the time after death. It's this time of nothingness and everything and float and chaos. Feel yourself floating around in the chaos, but with the knowing that there's something to come. Float until you feel peaceful and okay with just being. And I just want you gently to bring your attention back to the room. Now take a deep breath and open your eyes. And know that you can kind of, if you don't meditate, use this simple trick. Short meditations, 30 seconds. You do not need to do like 40-minute hour meditations if that's not you. But really, now more than ever, you need to find some practice that enables you to really get into that space of just being. Okay. Any questions? Well, you've got me. Thank you for showing up. I know it was kind of short notice, but I kind of got off yoga, and they were like, and it was like, you're going to do this. So no questions. No. I'm probably going to get on live a lot more to pull cards, particularly for my patrons. You're welcome, Barbara. I just feel it's very, very crazy energy. You may be feeling all right now, and then tomorrow you might not be. I might be feeling all right now, but tomorrow I might not be. You know, I've had moments over the last week where I've been like really ill, but luckily I get past it very fast. You're welcome. I hope it's been a little bit of help because, and I've got my owl. It is a bit Jekyll and Hyde, to be honest, Barbara, very much so. You know, luckily I'm staying more in the good side, whichever the good one was. I can never remember. And and I'm not like taking it out on anybody. The dream time is crazy, insane. And I'm actually going to say that not everything has great meaning this time as well, other than the fact that we are being a bit invaded and overwhelmed by energy. Okay. Some of it is, so you'll have to kind of sift through for yourself. That's the trouble with Pisces energy as well. It's kind of very like a big cloud around us, you know. It's like you cannot see it. So take note of things and write them down. Things are starting to reappear, though. If you read my today's article under this Mercury retrograde, I find it fascinating that, yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, stay in peace. And also, I think not being around too many people is probably a great thing at the moment because it is so overwhelming. Not going to, you know, crowded things if you can help it. Not going, you know, to a major mall to go shopping where there's a lot of noise and input and things. I think there's a lot of quiet time needed right now. And I forget to say that sometimes to people because my life is very quiet. I don't go many places where there's a lot of noise. You're working from home today, good. But even if you have a job where you have to go to work, you know, even if on your break, if you can go and find some peace somewhere, or if there's a little park nearby where you can just go and hang out, even for 10 minutes, we need it at the minute. So, yeah, because it's such a psychic sponge kind of energy. So I'm going to get off right now. I hope it's helpful, you know, and I will get on more. Those of you who are watching on the recording, if you do, patrons get these more often. You know, I'll put my link to Patreon. I have various reward levels. $1 gets you all my writing and some of these live streams. $5 gets you that and more. $25 gets you even more, and $50 even more. So you can check them out. But I'd love it if you join me on Patreon. It helps support my work, and I feel I give quite a lot in return. So thank you for coming on live. I hope it's been helpful. Yeah, I saw that, Barbara. I answered you in the thing. Anybody with anything around 23 degrees is going to feel this a lot. Anything like that's why I'm in La La Land with my sun at 21 degrees and my Chiron at 23 degrees Aquarius, which is interesting because so, you know, I kind of actually feel like those of us with real direct hits at 23 degrees are almost kind of the lucky ones. You know, we're kind of, we're the space holders, if you like. So we'll kind of be tuned to the energy a little bit more, whereas everybody else is just going, ah. Oh, you're not feeling peaceful? I am in some ways, not every moment, but mostly. Overall, I don't feel like my life's falling apart, and I don't feel like I'm losing my mind like some people are. So I feel very grateful and lucky. So, but we can look at your chart more when it comes to the mini readings and things. So we'll be doing that. Okay. Well, that's, yeah, exactly. I would advise feeling low, laying low. I mean, it's a lot of alone time. Yeah. And being in gratitude. It's if we, ignore the energies and go out and try and, go be busy all the time and go shopping when it's like mobbed with people and stuff like that. That's when it all just becomes too crazy. So, we have to choose to stay in the peaceful place, I think. I don't think it's just coming naturally. So, all right, loves. I'm going to go and get this recording up, but hope some people who are listening on recording will come and join us on Patreon and get more of this. Thank you.